What if I told you that the difference between the life you're living and the life you dream about isn't talent, luck, or circumstances? It's one single word: discipline. Think about it. Right now, someone with less natural ability than you is outperforming you. Someone who started with fewer advantages is achieving more. Someone who faced bigger obstacles is living the life you want. The difference? They mastered the art of discipline, while others are still waiting for motivation to strike. In this video, I'm going to share the most powerful strategies for building unstoppable discipline from one of the most transformative books on self-mastery. These aren't just theories, these are battle-tested principles that have helped thousands transform from procrastinators into action takers, from dreamers into achievers. So if you're tired of starting and stopping, if you're done making excuses, if you're ready to finally become the person you know you're capable of being, then this video is for you. Let's dive in. Chapter 1: The Motivation Myth. Let me tell you about Marcus. Marcus was a guy who bought a gym membership every January for 5 years straight. Each time he'd go religiously for 2 weeks, maybe 3. He'd watch motivational videos, listen to pump-up music, visualize his six-pack abs. But by February, the membership card was gathering dust in his wallet. Marcus had plenty of motivation. What he didn't have was discipline. Here's the brutal truth that nobody wants to hear. Motivation is garbage. I know that sounds harsh, especially in a world that's obsessed with motivational quotes and feel-good content. But motivation is like a sugar rush. It feels amazing for about 20 minutes, then crashes hard. Think about the last time you felt incredibly motivated. Maybe you watched an inspiring video, attended a seminar, or had a powerful conversation. You probably told yourself, "This is it. This time I'm really gonna change." How long did that feeling last? A day? A week? A month if you were lucky? The book reveals something profound. Motivation is an emotion, and emotions are temporary by nature. They fluctuate based on your mood, your circumstances, your energy levels. Building your life on motivation is like building a house on sand. The first storm that comes along washes everything away. Discipline, on the other hand, is a system. It's not about how you feel, it's about what you do regardless of how you feel. Discipline is showing up when you don't want to. It's doing the work when it's boring, uncomfortable, or difficult. It's choosing your long-term goals over short-term comfort. Here's a simple test. Motivated people go to the gym when they feel like it. Disciplined people go to the gym on schedule, whether they feel like it or not. Motivated people eat healthy when they're excited about their diet. Disciplined people eat healthy even when pizza is calling their name. The book introduces a concept called the discipline motivation loop. Here's how it works. You use discipline to take action. That action creates results. Those results generate motivation, and that motivation makes discipline easier. But notice the order. Discipline comes first, not motivation. Let me give you a real example. Sarah was a writer who waited for inspiration to strike before she'd write. Some days she'd write thousands of words. Most days she'd write nothing. Her book project dragged on for 3 years with minimal progress. Then she committed to a disciplined system. Write 500 words every single day, no matter what. No excuses, no exceptions. The first week was torture. She hated every word, but she kept going. By week 2, it got slightly easier. By month 3, writing became automatic. And here's the magic. Once writing became a disciplined habit, inspiration started showing up more often. Within 6 months, her book was finished. That's the discipline motivation loop in action. You don't wait for motivation to build discipline. You use discipline to create the conditions where motivation naturally appears. So stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for motivation to magically appear. Start with discipline, and everything else will follow. Chapter 2. The Power of Micro-Commitments. Now, let me share one of the most game-changing concepts from the book, micro-commitments. Most people fail at discipline because they set massive goals that require heroic levels of willpower. They tell themselves, starting Monday, I'm going to work out 2 hours every day, eat perfectly clean, wake up at 5 a.m., meditate for an hour, and read for 2 hours before work. How long does that last? Usually about 36 hours before they burn out completely and give up. The book introduces a different approach. Start so small that failure is almost impossible. This is called the principle of micro-commitment. Let me tell you about David. David wanted to start exercising, but kept failing because he'd commit to these intense 90-minute workout programs. The book taught him to start with just one push-up. Yes, you read that right. One single push-up. Sounds ridiculous, right? That's the point. One push-up is so easy that there's no excuse not to do it. No motivation needed, no special preparation, no gym membership. Just drop down and do one push-up. Here's what happened. David did his one push-up, and once he was down there, he figured he might as well do a few more. 5 push-ups became 10. 10 became 20. Within 2 weeks, he was doing a full workout routine. But it all started with a commitment so small he couldn't fail. This is the genius of micro-commitments. They do 3 powerful things. First, they eliminate the psychological barrier to starting. When a task feels small and manageable, your brain doesn't resist it. There's no internal battle, no negotiation, no excuses. You just do it. Second, they build momentum. Newton's first law applies to discipline too. An object in motion tends to stay in motion. The hardest part of any task is starting. Once you've started, continuing is much easier. That one push-up gets you moving. That one page of writing breaks through the resistance. That 5-minute meditation session often extends naturally. Third, they prove to yourself that you're the kind of person who keeps commitments. Every time you honor a micro-commitment, you're building self-trust. You're collecting evidence that you're disciplined. This identity shift is incredibly powerful. The book recommends something called the 2-minute rule. If you want to build a new habit, scale it down to something you can do in 2 minutes or less. Want to become a reader? Commit to reading 1 page per day. Want to start journaling? Write 1 sentence. Want to learn a language? Study for 2 minutes. I know what you're thinking. 1 page won't make me a reader. 1 sentence won't make me a writer. You're right, but here's what you're missing. 1 page per day makes you someone who reads every day. That identity is what matters. Think about it this way. What's the difference between someone who reads 1 page per day and someone who doesn't read at all? It's not 365 pages per year. It's the identity. One person is a reader who's building a habit. The other person is someone who doesn't read. And readers, even slow ones, tend to read more over time. Let me share a personal example from the book's author. He wanted to build a meditation practice but kept failing with 20-minute sessions, so he committed to taking just 3 deep breaths every morning. That's it. 3 breaths took maybe 30 seconds, but those 3 breaths anchored the habit. 6 months later, he was meditating for 30 minutes daily, but it started with 3 breaths. Here's your action step. Pick one area where you want to build discipline. Now scale down your goal until it seems almost embarrassingly small. If even a small part of you thinks that's too easy, you're on the right track. Commit to that micro behavior for 30 days no matter what. Don't try to do more until the habit is automatic. Remember, you're not trying to achieve massive results with micro commitments. You're trying to build an unbreakable chain of showing up. The results will come, but the identity comes first. Chapter 3. The Discipline Equation. Now we get to what the book calls the discipline equation, and this is where everything starts to make sense. Most people think discipline is some mysterious force that some people have and others don't, like it's genetic or something. But the book breaks down discipline into a simple formula. Discipline equals clarity multiplied by systems divided by friction. Let me break this down because it's absolutely crucial. First, clarity. You cannot be disciplined about vague goals. I want to get in shape isn't clear. I want to lose weight isn't clear. I will exercise for 30 minutes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 a.m. is clear. The book tells a story about two entrepreneurs. Both wanted to grow their business. The first guy had this vague vision of success. He'd work hard some days, skip others, jump between different strategies. After a year, minimal progress. The second entrepreneur got crystal clear. He defined exactly what growth meant. Acquire 10 new customers per month through cold email outreach. Every morning, he'd send 20 personalized emails. That's it. Simple, clear, specific. After a year, he'd grown his business by 400%. Same goal, different level of clarity, completely different results. Here's the key. Your brain needs clarity to engage its discipline. When goals are vague, your brain has too many options. Analysis paralysis sets in. But when you know exactly what you're doing, when you're doing it, and why you're doing it, discipline becomes automatic. Next part of the equation, systems. This is huge. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Let me explain with an example from the book. Two people want to write a book. Person A has the goal, write a best-selling novel. Person B has a system, write from 9 to 10 a.m. every single weekday, tracking word count in a spreadsheet with a designated writing space and a ritual of making coffee first. Who do you think finishes their book? The person with the system every single time. Because discipline isn't about willpower, it's about setting up systems that make the right choice the easy choice. The book reveals that every disciplined person is actually just someone with great systems. The Navy SEAL who wakes up at 4:30 a.m. doesn't have superhuman willpower. He has a system. Alarm across the room, workout clothes laid out, workout buddy waiting, routine so ingrained it's automatic. Your systems should include specific triggers, prepared environments, accountability mechanisms, and progress tracking. When these are in place, discipline becomes inevitable. Now, the last part, friction. This is the denominator in the equation, which means you want to reduce it. Friction is anything that makes the disciplined choice harder. Here's a story from the book that illustrates this perfectly. Tom wanted to eat healthier but kept failing. He'd come home tired from work and order takeout because cooking seemed like too much work. High friction equals low discipline. So Tom redesigned his system. Every Sunday, he'd meal prep for the entire week. All his healthy meals were ready to go in the fridge. Meanwhile, he deleted all the food delivery apps from his phone. He even gave his credit card to his wife to hold. Now the friction was reversed. Eating healthy was the easy option, just heat up prepared meal. Ordering junk food was the hard option. Find credit card, reinstall the app, and wait for delivery. By changing the friction, he changed his behavior. The book teaches that you need to add friction to bad habits and remove friction from good habits. Want to stop scrolling social media? Delete the apps and only access them through a browser that requires login every time. That's added friction. Want to start playing guitar? Keep the guitar on a stand in your living room, not in a case in the closet. That's removed friction. Here's a mind-blowing stat from the book. Reducing friction by just 20% can increase. Chapter 4. The Identity Shift. This next concept might be the most powerful idea in the entire book. Discipline isn't about doing, it's about becoming. Let me tell you about Lisa. Lisa tried for years to lose weight. She'd diet for a few weeks, lose some pounds, then gain it all back. The cycle repeated over and over. Then she learned about identity-based discipline, and everything changed. Instead of asking, "What do I need to do?" she started asking, "Who do I need to become?" The difference seems subtle, but it's actually revolutionary. Lisa stopped trying to be someone who's trying to lose weight and started being a healthy person. She asked herself, what would a healthy person do? A healthy person doesn't just diet temporarily. A healthy person makes health a permanent part of their identity. When faced with a donut, Lisa didn't think, "I can't have that," the language of deprivation. She thought, "I don't eat that," the language of identity. That small shift in language represents a massive shift in psychology. The book explains this through what's called the identity stack. At the bottom, you have outcomes. In the middle, you have processes, what you need to do. At the top, you have identity, who you need to become. Most people focus on outcomes. I want to lose 30 pounds. Some people focus on process. I will exercise 5 times per week. But disciplined people focus on identity. I am an athlete. Here's why this matters. Outcomes are temporary. Processes can feel like chores, but identity is permanent and effortless. When something is part of who you are, you don't need discipline to do it. You need discipline not to do it. Think about brushing your teeth. Do you need motivation to brush your teeth? Do you struggle with discipline? Probably not. Why? Because person who brushes their teeth is part of your identity. You don't think about it. You just do it. That's the power of identity-based discipline. The book shares a fascinating study. Researchers looked at people trying to quit smoking. They divided them into 2 groups. The first group, when offered a cigarette, said, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit." The second group said, "No thanks, I'm not a smoker." Guess which group had the higher success rate? The second group, by a massive margin. Why? Because trying to quit is an action. Not a smoker is an identity, and we will always behave consistently with our identity. Here's how to implement this. For every disciplined behavior you want to build, define the identity first. Don't say, "I want to write a book." Say, "I am a writer." Don't say, "I want to run a marathon." Say, "I am a runner." Don't say, "I want to be successful." Say, "I am someone who finishes what they start." And then prove that identity to yourself with small wins. Every time you write 1 paragraph, you're proving you're a writer. Every time you run 1 mile, you're proving you're a runner. Every time you complete a small task, you're proving you finish what you start. The book calls this casting votes for your identity. Each disciplined action is a vote. You don't need to be perfect, you just need more votes for your new identity than for your old one. If you write 3 days this week and skip 4, you're still moving toward a writer identity. Keep voting. Let me share a powerful example from the book. Jack wanted to become more disciplined but struggled with his self-image. He saw himself as lazy, undisciplined, someone who always gave up. That identity was a self-fulfilling prophecy. So Jack started collecting evidence against his old identity. He created what the book calls an identity journal. Every day he'd write down 3 things he did that proved his new identity. Today I am disciplined because I worked out even though I didn't feel like it. Today I am disciplined because I meal prepped instead of ordering takeout. Today I am disciplined because I worked on my project for 30 minutes. After 90 days, Jack had accumulated 270 pieces of evidence that he was disciplined. His self-image transformed, and once his self-image transformed, discipline became natural. Here's Chapter 5, The Discipline Domino Effect. Here's something fascinating the book reveals. Discipline in one area creates discipline in other areas. It's called the discipline domino effect. Michael was a guy who couldn't get his life together. His apartment was a mess, his diet was terrible, he was chronically late, his finances were chaotic. When his girlfriend left him, he decided something had to change. But where do you start when everything's a mess? The book gave him an unexpected answer. Start by making your bed. That's it. Just make your bed every single morning. Seems too simple, right? But here's what happened. Michael started making his bed. That one small act of discipline triggered something. He noticed that his bedroom looked nicer with a made bed, so he picked up the clothes off the floor. Then he cleaned his bathroom, then his kitchen. Within a month, his entire apartment was clean. But it didn't stop there. The discipline of maintaining a clean space spilled over into his eating habits. He started meal prepping because his clean kitchen made cooking appealing. The better food gave him more energy. The extra energy motivated him to start exercising. Exercise improved his sleep. Better sleep made him more productive at work. 1 year later, Michael had lost 40 pounds, gotten a promotion, rebuilt his relationship, and completely transformed his life, all because he started making his bed. This is the discipline domino effect, and research confirms it's real. Studies show that people who exercise regularly are more likely to eat healthy, even though these are separate behaviors. People who meditate are more likely to be punctual. People who track their finances are more likely to maintain good relationships. Why does this happen? The book explains 3 reasons. First, discipline is a skill that transfers. Every time you exercise discipline in any area, you're strengthening your discipline muscle overall. It's like working out. Bench press makes you stronger, but that strength helps with every other lift too. Second, disciplined behaviors create positive momentum. Success breeds success. When you stick to your morning routine, you feel capable. That feeling of capability makes you more likely to tackle other challenges throughout the day. Third, identity shift compounds. When you prove to yourself that you're disciplined with one thing, you start to believe, "I'm a disciplined person." That belief changes how you approach everything else. The book introduces the concept of keystone disciplines. These are specific behaviors that have a disproportionate impact on the rest of your life. Common keystone disciplines include morning routines. Starting your day with discipline sets the tone for everything else. People who nail their morning routine consistently report better discipline all day long. Physical exercise. Movement affects energy, mood, mental clarity, and willpower. Active people are more disciplined in every other area of life. Sleep hygiene. Going to bed and waking up at consistent times creates discipline in time management and self-care. Poor sleep destroys discipline in every other area. Financial tracking. People who monitor their spending become more aware of their choices in general. Financial discipline creates mental discipline. The book recommends identifying your keystone discipline and focusing there first. Don't try to fix everything at once. Find the one behavior that will trigger positive changes in other areas. Let me share another story from the book. Rachel was a lawyer who worked insane hours. She had no time for discipline, or so she thought. The book taught her about keystone disciplines. She chose one thing: go to bed at 10 p.m. every night, no exceptions. This seemed impossible with her demanding job, but she committed. The first week was brutal. She had to leave work unfinished. She had to say no to evening events, but she protected her sleep like it was sacred. Within 2 weeks, something amazing happened. The consistent sleep improved her focus. Better focus made her more productive during work hours. Higher productivity meant she finished her work faster. Finishing work faster meant she had time for other things. She started exercising in the mornings. She started cooking healthy meals. She reconnected with friends. One keystone discipline transformed everything. That's the power of the discipline domino effect. Here's your action step. Identify your keystone discipline. What's the
Chapter 6, The Discipline Protocol. We're in the final stretch, and I'm going to give you the exact protocol the book lays out for building unstoppable discipline. This is the step-by-step system that ties everything together. Step 1, the clarity session. Before you can build discipline, you need to know what you're building it for. The book recommends a weekly clarity session where you ask yourself 3 questions. What matters most to me? What am I committed to? What needs to happen this week? This isn't about daily to-do lists. This is about connecting your daily actions to your deepest values. When you know why something matters, discipline becomes easier. Step 2, the micro-commitment. Based on your clarity, choose one micro-commitment for the week, just one. Remember, start so small you can't fail. If you're unsure whether it's small enough, make it smaller. Write this commitment down using the format, I will specific behavior at specific time in specific location every single day this week, no matter what. The specificity is crucial. Vague commitments die. Specific commitments survive. Step 3, the friction audit. Look at your commitment and ask, what friction is stopping me? Then systematically remove every obstacle. Prepare your environment, set up your tools, eliminate distractions, create reminders. Make the right choice the easiest choice. Step 4, the identity declaration. Write down the identity this commitment supports. By doing commitment, I am becoming blank. For example, by exercising every morning, I am becoming an athlete. Say this declaration out loud when you do the behavior. It sounds weird, but it works. Step 5, the evidence collection. Every day, record your success. Use a simple tracking method. A check mark on a calendar, an X on a habit tracker, a note in your phone. The method doesn't matter. What matters is you're collecting visible evidence that you're keeping your commitment. The book emphasizes this: never miss twice. Missing once is an accident. Missing twice is a pattern. If you miss a day, that's okay. We're human. But the next day is non-negotiable. That's where discipline is proven. Step 6, the weekly review. At the end of each week, review your progress. Celebrate your wins, even small ones. If you missed days, analyze why without judgment. What was the friction? How can you reduce it next week? Step 7, the progressive overload. After 4 weeks of 100% consistency with your micro-commitment, you can add complexity. Increase the difficulty slightly, add a second commitment, or extend the duration, but only after proving consistency first. This is crucial. Most people try to do too much too fast. They sprint at the beginning and burn out. The discipline protocol is about sustainable, progressive growth. You're building for life, not for a week. Let me show you this protocol in action with a real example from the book. Emma wanted to transform her health. Here's how she applied the protocol. Week 1 through 4, micro-commitment. I will do 10 squats at 7 a.m. in my bedroom every single day this week, no matter what. She removed friction by keeping workout clothes on her nightstand. Identity declaration, I am an athlete. She tracked with phone reminders and check marks. Result, 28 days of consistency. Week 5 through 8, progressive overload. Added 10 push-ups to the routine. Still 7 a.m., still in bedroom. Same tracking system. Result, 28 more days of consistency. Weeks 9 through 12, progressive overload. Upgraded to a 20-minute full-body workout. Same time, same place. Result: habit fully established. Month 4, Emma was working out 6 days per week, had lost 15 pounds, felt incredible, and it all felt natural. The discipline was now automatic. That's the power of the protocol. Now, let me address the elephant in the room. What about when life gets hard? What about when you face setbacks, when motivation disappears completely, when circumstances make discipline feel impossible? The book has a powerful answer. This is when discipline matters most. Anyone can be disciplined when life is easy.
We've covered a lot in this video. Let me bring it all together. Discipline isn't a personality trait you're born with. It's a skill you develop through specific, proven strategies. Motivation is unreliable. Systems are everything. Start with micro-commitments so small you can't fail. Focus on identity, not just actions. Use the discipline equation. Maximize clarity and systems, minimize friction. Let keystone disciplines create a domino effect in other areas. Follow the protocol consistently. But here's what I want you to understand on a deeper level. Discipline is freedom. I know that sounds paradoxical. Most people think discipline is restrictive, that it's about saying no to things you want, but the opposite is true. Lack of discipline is what's restrictive. When you lack discipline, you're controlled by your impulses, your moods, your circumstances. You're a slave to immediate gratification. You're trapped in patterns you hate but can't break. Discipline sets you free. Free to pursue your goals. Free to become who you want to be. Free to create the life you envision instead of accepting the life that happens by default. Think about the most disciplined people you know or admire. Are they miserable and restricted? Or are they living exactly the life they designed? Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. And here's the beautiful truth. You already have everything you need to build unstoppable discipline. You don't need special circumstances. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need to wait until you feel ready. You just need to start. Start small. Start now. Start with one micro-commitment. Remember Marcus from the beginning of this video? The guy who kept buying gym memberships? After learning these principles, he stopped trying to be motivated and started being disciplined. He committed to one workout per week, just one. After 3 months of consistency, he was working out 5 times per week. After a year, he'd completely transformed his body and his life. The gym membership finally got used. That transformation is available to you too. Not someday, right now. Today can be day 1 or it can be one day. Your choice. So here's my challenge to you. Before this video ends, decide on one micro-commitment right now. Don't overthink it. What's one small behavior you can commit to for the next 7 days? Write it down. Make it specific. Remove the friction and then do it. Every single day, no matter what. If you found value in this video, do me a favor, like it, share it with someone who needs to hear this message, and subscribe to the channel because we're going to dive deeper into these concepts in future videos. Drop a comment below with your micro-commitment. I read every comment, and there's something powerful about declaring your commitment publicly. It makes it real. Remember, you're not trying to be perfect. You're trying to be consistent. Consistency beats intensity every time. Small disciplines repeated daily create extraordinary lives. The life you want is waiting for you on the other side of discipline. Go claim it. Thank you for watching. Now stop watching and start doing. I'll see you in the next video.